to a local church podcast, a podcast devoted to loving God, loving people, and making disciples. We'll be your hosts.
I'm Pastor Ryan.
And I'm Noah Gartland.
What's wrong with you people?
What up?
What is this?
It's like I thought it was kind of a cool new intro. It's hard to find no copyright music on YouTube.
Loyalty free, whatever. Royalty free, that's the word.
This kind of reminds me of like some kind of like
It's a video game. It's a
like a British like spy movie, but like comedy at the same time.
Today, on today's episode of Bonkers and Willie.
Hey, it is the 7th of September.
September 7th?
Yeah. How you doing, man?
2022.
School's in full effect for you. You've been like rocking out the old college days.
Yeah. I'm actually quickly approaching midterm area.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, that's fast.
Dude, very fast. I feel like this semester is flying by.
The question is, are you ready?
No.
You're not ready for midterms.
No, I'm not.
That's sad.
We'll see, actually. Some of the classes I am ready. Some of them I am definitely not ready. But we'll see. Yeah.
If you could give us a little synopsis. No, not synopsis. That's a bad word. Give us a little blurb of like, if you're like, so you're talking to a local church folks, right? That's kind of what our podcast is. A local church podcast. So gmail.com. Give us an email. But if somebody said, what do you do at a Christian college? Like why should a student right now looking at college, why should they consider a Christian college?
Woohoo!
Yeah.
That's really good. So, being in a Christian college, of course, we have things like chapel, right? Opportunities to gather for worship.
Yeah.
We have, Bible classes that are required for like all majors. Regardless of whether you're going there to study ministry, you're going there to study business, education, whatever it is, you're required to take certain like New Testament, Old Testament hermeneutics, sort of like.
So there's a foundation.
Yeah, introductory classes. Yeah. I don't know if I can speak for all Christian colleges, but I can speak for Boyce College in saying that it really does equip you, regardless of what you're studying, to approach whatever job you're going to do after college through a Christian worldview.
Nice.
So that's that's a big thing. So yeah.
Yeah. For more on Boyce College at sbts.edu. I don't know what their website is.
I don't know.
Yeah, but I think Boyce College could be a really cool sponsor of the local church podcast.
They're not going to sponsor a local church podcast.
They could. I mean, we should send them an email, definitely. There's a lot going on here at this local church. If you find yourself in Shelby County, Spencer County, Anderson County, we're kind of centrally located in Mount Eden, Kentucky.
Yeehaw!
MMBCKY.org is a good place to start. Kind of get to know us. Visit us on Sunday mornings at 11 o'clock for worship, 10 o'clock for life groups. We'd love to get to know you and serve you and help you plug in to serve this community. So we are a community of faith that loves God, loves people, and makes disciples of Jesus Christ. Yeah, that's a good plug.
Good plug.
That was a good plug.
It was good.
Hey, we're walking through Malachi, and we picked one verse today because I think it's very, 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 very poignant and applicable to the culture that we find ourselves in on the 7th of September, 2022.
Yowza.
Yeah. Do you want to read the verse? It's Malachi chapter 2. Verse 17. I'm going to give it a kind of setup before you read it.
Yeah, go ahead.
So Malachi is a messenger of the Lord. He is a prophet of the Lord, and he is speaking for the Lord to the Lord's people, to God's people. And he's saying, hey, you are God's covenant people. You have been in exile. Now you're not. The temple was torn down. Now it's not. And you are a covenant people. So get your act together. Is kind of what's going on here. He starts with a big topic like, hey, you are the people of God. Then he talks about the priests. We've talked about that for a couple weeks. that the priests are no longer instructing the people the right way, and they are making people to stumble or causing people to stumble, which is a huge no-no for those who preach and teach God's people. And then we get into today's verse 17, right after he talks about the priests. What does it say, Noah?
Malachi 2:17. You have wearied the Lord with your words, but you say, how have we wearied him? By saying, everyone who does evil is good in the sight of the Lord, and he delights in them. Or by asking, where is the God of justice?
Nice.
Thanks.
Huge. Big verse. Now there's a lot more that goes to this. This is one verse of a passage. So Malachi 2:17 goes into chapter 3. I don't really remember how far it goes, but it goes into that chapter as well. So it unpacks a bit more. But the people of God, they're wearying God, right? And they're saying a specific statement, and they're saying that the evil people are seen as good. And so they're asking the question, where is God? They're asking the question, why isn't God helping us? Why does it seem like the evil people in our world are actually good in the sight of God? The question is, I have for you, Noah, and this is not scripted whatsoever. Why would something like this weary God, that the people of God act like the evil in the world, or the people that are doing evil in the world, are good in God's sight? Why would that weary God?
Ooh, yeah. So Yahweh, right? The God who has chosen the nation of Israel, right? Has also revealed himself to the nation of Israel, right? Through the prophets. God has humbled himself in revealing who he is, what he's about, to these people, these chosen people. And now they are getting it mixed up. They are getting it confused. So I can understand how God might be described as wearied by the people who he has chosen to reveal himself to, getting it wrong.
Yeah, it's like they've forgotten that they are his covenant people. They're his chosen people. Like, he's made promises, right? And it's almost as if they're saying, I mean, think about where they are. They're back in the promised land. The temple has been rebuilt. They're no longer in exile. And yet they're looking around all these pagan nations around them, and they seem to be, and they're saying like, hey, why are all these evil nations prospering? Why are they all good in God's sight? It's kind of what's going on. And it's almost like they've forgotten that God has promised them a specific thing, from Abraham to Isaac to Jacob to David. Like, just think about where you would be as a people, as a person, just me in general, if I've forgotten the good that God has promised through his son Jesus, right? They've forgotten that they are covenant people. They've forgotten that there's more coming, right? To wait on the Lord and things like that. When I first read this, I saw this as if it was like people were calling evil good. But that's not what was happening. They're looking around at the pagan nations, and those nations are prospering, and they're kind of not. They're kind of just in this ho-hum kind of state. And they're asking the question, like, where is the justice? Where is God? Like, what's going on? Does this apply at all to our day today, 2022?
I'd say so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm thoughtful of the promise that is made to us in Psalm 1, right? Blessed is he whose delight is in the law of the Lord, right? This man who doesn't succumb to wickedness, right? Who doesn't follow in the way of the sinner, but who delights in the law of the Lord. So this is what Israel was to do. They were to delight in the law of the Lord, right? Do as God had commanded them. And at this point, it might be as though Israel is saying, hey, listen, we've tried our best. But these pagan nations who know nothing of God, and who don't even know God's law, and who are rejecting us as his chosen people, they seem to be doing fine while we're suffering. Why do they have it so good? They must be right, and we must be wrong.
Yeah, and the question I think Malachi puts forth is they're saying, where is the justice?
Yeah,
That's a big topic in our day and age, right? Especially there are a lot of Christians who fall in the line of, well, justice looks like certain political ideas or certain, I don't want to use this word social justice type stuff, but it falls in, well, if you're not doing those specific things, you're not being just, and the church isn't being just, and things like that. Almost as if, well, the God of the Bible isn't just, and that's kind of the same thing. That would weary God.
Yeah.
It's big. But I want to read a passage from Hebrews. I hope this fits.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hebrews 13:8. Are you ready?
Go ahead.
It's a good memory verse. Jesus is the same yesterday, today, and forever.
Wow.
How does that fit? That the same Messiah figure that was promised in the Old Testament was the same then, the same now, and it'll be the same forever.
Yeah.
So when we look around at the world around us and we see evil things happening, the first question shouldn't be, where is God? Our first instinct is to look to Jesus, who is the same regardless of what's happening around us in the world. I want to blow your mind a little bit and the reader's mind. This is going to be weird. It's not going to be weird. It's going to be awesome. God is outside of time. In order for God to be a part of us, he stepped into time in Jesus. Jesus lived his life perfectly, fulfilled the law, went to the cross as an atoning sacrifice, was dead, buried, rose again, showing that God approved this sacrifice or merited this sacrifice of being able to declare the sinner righteous through Christ. And then Jesus ascends back into heaven outside of time. But when we think about the world as we know it, we're finite. We think about the clock, right? There's 60 seconds in a minute. There's 60 minutes in an hour. There are 24 hours in a day. There are 365 days in the year, so on and so forth. We get stuck in this idea that we're waiting on God to do something. We're waiting on God to fix everything. But when we look at Scripture tells us that it is already finished. It's already been accomplished. And so those who place their faith and hope in Jesus don't have to worry about the circumstance they find themselves in. It's already completed because God is outside of time. Christ is outside of time. His accomplished work has already been done. We are just in the in-between now. And so even for the people of Malachi's day and the people of our day, we see all kinds of evil and atrocities and things. It seems like it'll never get better. Where is God? When is God going to fix this? He already has.
Amen, brother.
Yeah. It's a lot. There's a lot going on there in my head.
Oh,
in my heart. Hey, there's a lot going on today in the world around us.
It is.
Yeah, I have been scrolling a little bit on some news, like what's some big news for today. Did you know that former President Barack Obama and Michelle Obama visited the White House today?
I think I heard something about that.
Something about some crayon drawings of them.
I don't know.
The official portraits were unveiled today.
Nice.
Yeah. I heard that in the speech, like the welcoming speech, former President Obama, I guess, mentioned the current president, Joe Biden, as Vice President Biden, like little Mean Girls kind of moment,
Nice.
snarky kind of thing. So the bromance may not be there, like it, I guess, was portrayed. Think about I think we should do that for people in the church, like official portraits.
Like who?
I don't know. Like we should pick somebody, like every year, pick a random couple and be like, it's time for your official portrait, and then just unveil official portraits everywhere.
Okay.
That'd be kind of cool.
Who's going to paint them?
I think we should let our children's ministry paint them.
Ooh, that's good.
Like let all the kids
do like an art class where they stand in the middle and all the kids are standing around in a circle
awesome.
with like construction paper and broken crayons. I'm down for that.
I think it's important to remember like your history, remember your former presidents, things like that. Official portraits, a bit much. I think. I don't know. I don't have an opinion one way or the other.
I I don't know.
Just thought it was interesting. You got any big news? Any big news topics that you found today?
Ooh, I did find one. So I saw, as I was scrolling through the news today, that there is a official minister of the Church of England. I guess that's what they're called.
Official minister of the Church of England.
Is it a minister? He's an ordained minister in the Church of England. His name is Randall.
Yeah.
He is suing a Church of England school after being fired for some comments that he made. So apparently in the Church of England, they have schools. This guy was a chaplain at one of those schools.
Okay.
And he had delivered some messages between some students between the ages of 11 and 17, I believe. And in these messages, he taught the Church of England's official stance on kind of LGBTQ issues. And in the end, he told the students, you must make up your mind about these issues. You don't.
So put it back in their court.
Yeah. And he says to these kids that you do not have to believe everything that society's telling you, that culture's telling you, that the LGBTQ movement is telling you. You don't have to believe it. And he gets fired for these comments.
Wow.
Actually, he gets fired because he is marked as a terrorist.
What?
He is reported and flagged.
What's wrong with you people?
Right. He is flagged as a terrorist and is fired from his job as a chaplain at a school. And he is now suing this
the mob is
school
upset.
in the UK
Yeah.
over his being fired.
There's a couple things in there. One,
That's a lot of
one is I guess he's doing, you say he's chapel services, like for the school? Like, is that like a daily, weekly basis kind of thing?
I don't know.
Wow. And then he's suing them.
Yeah.
All kinds of.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
I don't know a lot about the Church of England,
Yeah.
but this news story is really making me want to look into it.
Especially like, wow. The Church of England. Since it sounds like it's a state church, but I don't know. I mean, he's probably not lorded over. That's weird, but he's probably like, he has some restraints, probably what he can and cannot say. You know, wow. That's a thing that we should look that Church of England up for the next podcast.
You know what? Next podcast, we're breaking down the Church of England.
That's my news music.
A local church podcast versus the Church of England. Why?
That's probably the response we would get.
Oh, yeah. Nobody would listen.
Hey, this day in history. You ever check that out?
Oh, no. Sometimes.
Mr. Spencer, of guests we've had on before, does this. And I looked up today, like this day in history for today, September 7th.
Nice.
But on this day, September 7th, 1813, the United States gets its nickname Uncle Sam. You know that?
Really?
Yeah. The name is linked to Samuel Wilson, a meat packer from Troy, New York, who supplied barrels of beef to the United States Army during the War of 1812. Wilson stamped the barrels with U.S. for United States, but the soldiers began referring to the grub as Uncle Sam's.
Nice.
Yeah. So when you say, hey, Uncle Sam, it's
U.S.
about a meat packer.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's what I got.
It's good stuff. Hey, for some reason, that made me think of a fun fact that I learned this past week.
Okay, fun fact.
Dippin' Dots.
How's that related?
Just listen.
Okay.
Just listen. Dippin' Dots.
Okay.
Are you familiar with them?
Yeah, the little ice cream dots.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like them.
Stop.
Not
really?
a fan. Not a fan.
Okay.
Perplexing preferences.
I was about to say, this fun fact just turned into this week's
perplexing preference.
perplexing preferences.
I prefer just regular ice cream over Dippin' Dots.
Well, duh, but Dippin' Dots is a novelty item, and when they're available,
I would rather have the freeze-dried ice cream than Dippin' Dots.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Perplexing preferences. Yeah.
Astronaut ice cream?
Yeah.
You'd rather have astronaut ice cream.
When my family goes to a particular amusement park, during fall break, We go to one ride. It's about space. And at the end of that ride, you go into the little gift shop and they have space ice cream or the freeze-dried ice cream. And it's amazing.
Anyways, back to my fun fact.
Better than Dippin' Dots.
No, Dippin' Dots is way better. Here's one reason why.
Hey, if
Dippin'
you're a
Dots,
listener, localchurchpodcast@gmail.com. What's your favorite, Dippin' Dots or regular ice cream? Or freeze-dried? How about this? Dippin' Dots against freeze-dried.
Oh, yeah.
Continue, Noah.
Okay. Dippin' Dots, and this is one reason why they're better. Are you ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Is a local business. Dippin' Dots, the home of Dippin' Dots.
Yeah.
Paducah, Kentucky.
No way.
Yes, their headquarters is still in Paducah, Kentucky.
Field trip. Paducah.
Yep.
Well, that's way west, right? So, man,
Yeah.
probably not going to drive out there, but
We should. We should go on
Dippin' Dots, Paducah, Kentucky. I didn't know that. So you're saying Paducah, Kentucky is the birthplace of Dippin' Dots, or like just where they now
I'm pretty sure it's
package
the
the
birthplace.
product?
I'm looking it up right now.
So while you're looking that up, if you have a preference of ice cream, this is Dippin' Dots versus the freeze-dried. Is it freeze-dried?
It's
Dehydrated? I don't know.
no, cryogenically frozen.
It's Dippin' Dots versus the space ice cream. localchurchpodcast@gmail.com. Send in your votes, and I promise you, Dippin' Dots is going to lose. So,
Oh, no. I got it right here.
okay, bring it.
Dippin' Dots was actually founded in New Grand Chain, Illinois in 1988.
Okay.
This guy started the business out of his parents' garage.
It seems like all businesses start out of a garage, but
Originally invented as cow feed.
what?
Yeah.
They were
How
going to
about that?
feed cows milk?
The company is now headquartered in Paducah, Kentucky.
Either way,
How
it's
about
in
that?
Kentucky.
It's in Kentucky, baby.
So we've got a drink that I don't approve of. We have Kentucky Fried Chicken. We have baseball bats.
Wait,
and we have Dippin'
You
Dots.
don't approve of Ale 8?
I do approve of L8,
Okay.
but I don't approve of one of our major exports, I guess, from Kentucky, bourbon. But, you know, those exports. But now we can say Dippin' Dots is Kentucky.
Yeah.
Woo!
Kentucky proud, baby.
Yeehaw. You know what that means?
I don't know.
Words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom.
We kind of had to start with the same music or end with the same music we started with. Words of wisdom for today, the 7th of September, 2022. Noah Gartland, what are your words of wisdom?
Start a blog. Just do it. You've been thinking about it for months. Start a blog. That's it.
Nice. So write down your thoughts, write down things that got...
No. Stop trying to add on to it. Stop
Okay.
trying to complicate it. Start that blog.
Start a blog. Come up with a fascinating name.
No, stop. Start a blog. That's it. Your turn. Go.
All right. My words of wisdom for the 7th of September 2022 is this. Start a vlog. Get on YouTube.
No.
Start a YouTube channel and vlog your life. Give a little video about what your day looks
No,
like.
don't you dare.
Perplexing preferences. Whatever you want to do. But seriously, in all seriousness, I think both words of wisdom, blog, vlog, start recording what you're doing right now so that your children and your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren can kind of see and learn from your life and your legacy and point them to Jesus. Remember, love God.
Love people.
Make disciples.